This was a great lady by any standards. They just told you that she was baptized in 1929, confirmed 1936. But they have not told you that she was the first African nurse, the first woman who went to school and trained and qualified as a nurse in the whole of Republic of Kenya. This is the lady lying there. The whole Republic of Kenya. She was the first lady to open a savings account. I don't know where you put that saving account book. Her saving account book is still available here. It should be there in the museum. She opened it in 1938. She opened a savings account in a bank in Kakamega. A society that does not empower the other gender cannot prosper.
Many of us were told about the hustlers. Majority of the people who were described as hustlers were young people. And we went by that narrative, with that narrative, until a government was announced, and that government is the current government. I want to request the young people, now that you have graduated from that hustler narrative and become Gen Zs, liberators of this nation, stay there. I want to request the young people who have a longer stake, a bigger stake, a larger stake in their individuality and collectivity in this nation. As you have said correctly that you are partyless, tribeless, and you are everything, I want you to know that what you are doing is about the spirit of the nation. Do not discriminate in the future. When you are looking for elective leadership, do not discriminate on the basis of age. Musije kama vijana museme ati amtaki wazee ama amtaki wengine. All of us are responsible for the leaders we elect, and the leaders must also be responsible and accountable to us. Let us go to all elections as a truthful people, is when we will get truthful results.
A different conversation that has fundamentally shifted the politics of this country. Fundamentally shifted, it will never be the same again. We will never again have a country where there are shareholders and non-shareholders. We will never again have a country where opportunities are only given to certain groups and not others. We will never again have a country where public servants swallow money and vomit on the people. This is the end of that. And as a country, we must now have a conversation on how the politics of this country is going to shift forever, so that this country can never again be a preserve of just a few people and just a few elite. And the leaders must work for the people.
If any public officer is not of sound mind, then it does not deserve to be a leader of any position that is elective or otherwise delegated. I think that from the statements that we have seen our president communicating in this country, I am tempted to believe, with a lot of sympathy and empathy to him, that is not of sound mind. It's not of sound mind because young people of this country have enlightened themselves on political issues of this country. And they are talking about serious issues of serious graft in government, institutionalized and budgeted corruption in government. And even every single time that the president comes out to speak, he does not speak on the actions that the young people are saying. And I want to make it clear here to Mr. President that Article 131 of the Constitution defines the presidency as number 1, commander-in-chief, number 2, head of state, number 3, a symbol of national unity. Every single time you have spoken to people of Kenya, you have only spoken to the people of Kenya as a commander-in-chief, which basically means somebody who's overwhelmed with power for power's sake. Because Gen Zs are saying that, Mr. President, can you for once and for all dissolve and not reshuffle your government? So that if you dissolve that particular cabinet, then we can even have at least 5 Gen Zs entering cabinet because they understand the work of cabinet better than you. And you don't listen to them. These Gen Zs came to parliament in a constitutional order and a constitutional democracy. If the people come to parliament, the parliament ceases to exist. The government ceases to exist. It basically means that there is no confidence in both the government and parliament. Gen Zs are saying, resign and go. That's what Gen Zs are saying. You're not listening to them. In a good way. And what they have told Ruto, which Ruto is not hearing. They said reject, not amend.
Even us in parliament, you have given us a face. What was going on in parliament was a shame. Jogi Majogo Yeski, they used to come to parliament, they don't even come into the parliament. They just walk in, go have tea, walk to State House, come back with whatever they said, the boss has said, and come and put their finger and say yes, without considering anybody or people of Kenya. So what has happened? Even me now, I'm able to walk in parliament in another style, different one. Thank you very much, Gen Z. And muendelee, we will support you and we'll be consulting you. We must realize that this country is greater than any one single one of us, and Kenya is our country. Nobody was invited to be a Kenyan. We are all Kenyans by our right, and we must have a conversation as a country.
Please, we are with you. Do not relent. Do not retreat. Do not surrender. The moment you do that, you will be vanquished. You have done certain things that we have not been able to achieve. But in only 2 weeks, you have given a paradigm shift to the management of our country. We will support you. We are with you. And I know in Baba's heart of hearts, you are residing there. Baba loves you. And he will say that for himself. Siku ile tulipiga no. Wacha nikuambie watu wa Yesu wanajua kukimbia. Omera niliona hawa kwa tunnel. Na saa zingine tuko na shida kupata watu wanaenda Olympic. Na huko bunge iko watu wanakimbia sana. Na tuliwaambia mkichapa hii yes yenu, watu watakimbia hapa. Na Gen Zs walikuja kututembelea bungeni. Na tunawashukuru, next time mkikuja, fanyeni appointment, wakaribishe vizuri, mukule vizuri. Na msiharibu mali.
The mass or the celebration is over. And now is the time that I hand over the mic to my friends. On their time, they might not be able to stay with us for long. So I give back the mic to my brother, and from there we'll move on. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Engineer Dr. Raila Odinga, Your Excellency, Dr. Aida Odinga, Your Excellency, the government with speed. Allow me then to call upon Senator Beatrice Ogola, who will lead the first session, and then we'll conclude with the second one. The
elders, our dear sister, Lady Aya, to the leadership that has been recognized here, the friends, and that is to recognize the families that make this home. I want to recognize your game, Migori, to welcome us here, led by Jaduong Ojo. Jaduong Ojo, kama intie, Eliab
Ojo is the chairman of Luo community in Migori. Mr. Honorable Raila is now old, but if I'm here standing as the chairman of Game Community in Migori, he's a young man behind me who was very old and should now come back and rest. There was a senior chief in Alego who called him a very young man, and every son-in-law, Jalango Raila Odinga, is old. You are a very young man, very young boy. Continue kicking everybody, kicking around.
And recognize your game, Mania Dalaka. Mr. Ting, welcome, and as you come in, I want to...
the entire leadership ambao wako hapa, kwa majina yale mumesikia, I'm called Ateng Oyo. Ateng Oyo ni familia hii bomba kutoka game
Mama Rosa no hero jite. Mama kadu biro ke nyithindo pong kuome. Iluonge tukute. Mama no ka nyithindo ariyo mano dagoga. Tabi ka kwaye moda agoye tukute. Dala ni kani biro tendara Joesi. Joete ne tiyo kama tek moko biro kati kwadwa kwala. Kani wako kanisa
Rosa Onge. I want to take this chance to welcome the representative of Jokisa, Mr. Jeff.
I'll be representing the Kisa community, and I have a written speech from and unforgettable personality remain deeply appreciated and remembered in our lives, particularly for those of my age who have observed how he and his brothers and cousins donated and participated in the family at King African Rifles, known as King George VI Hospital. You welcomed visitors with open arms and ensured they left with something in their hands. Beyond that, you paid school fees for many young boys and girls, understanding that education is a key. Nzofu Amunga married Mr. Okeno of the then Railways, were the cherished senjes in our family. Your love for your nephews and nieces was unparalleled.